This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my review of Unfinished Tales of Númenor and Middle-earth. And this one was a lot faster for me to read than the Fall of Númenor, since I just listened to this one entirely. Did get to read a few of the chapters with the book, but I realized I just didn't have the time to be reading the book at the same time, and honestly, this is a really good book, although if you do have The Fall of Númenor, most of the Second Age chapters are the exact same chapters that are in the ones in Fall of Númenor. So with it, if you get that, this is mainly for definitely the Third Age stuff. I'm not sure if the First Age stuff is the exact same stuff written in the Children of Hurin and the Fall of Gondolin. Although Fall of Gondolin is unlikely since this is mostly the lead up to Tor getting to Gondolin, and Children of Hurin, it has a good amount in it, although not everything, and some stuff is skipped over, and these are supposed to be companion pieces to the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, and Lord of the Rings, and with it, that is pretty interesting to see. The interesting stuff is definitely the Third Age stuff, which is stuff that goes into different tales and events around mainly the Lord of the Rings, but also the Hobbit, which shows just a little more detail into those stories, since the other ones are either told in other books like The Fall of Númenor, Children of Hurin, or The Fall of Gondolin, although they're not, I don't think, exactly the same in the other two. I noticed that the one from Fall of Númenor and Unfinished Tales were literally one for one word copies of the same stories, and that was part of the advertising of Fall of Númenor, which was there was all the stories put together. So if you do read it, you could basically, I think, skip over everything besides the Galadriel and Celeborn stories, which are exclusive to this one, and the only ones that you really need to read. Although I think there's a little more context around the story between, I don't remember the guy's name, but it's the Númenorian king who was a mariner and his wife. And with that one, it's basically as a little bit more of a prelude, and then it's the exact same story. And yeah, with this, there's also little notes in from the, editor. This one being Christopher Tolkien. If you listen to the audiobook, although if you're reading the book, you would just have to manually go to those pages yourselves if you wanted to go and see that. But yeah, honestly, it's pretty interesting. Each story has an appendix after it, so you don't have to go jumping around trying to find information for that story specifically, which is pretty helpful. And yeah, honestly, it's a pretty good book. Probably the most interesting thing is just to see some stuff like how Gandalf met Thorin, and seeing just some of the small events that led up into the Lord of the Rings and stuff that happened around the time. You also got to take a look at what was a kind of different race of men, the wizards and the Palantirs, and that's all pretty interesting. And it's definitely a good book overall. I enjoyed it and definitely recommend to read it to a Tolkien fan. But like all the Tolkien books, I think you should definitely both read it and listen to the audiobook to be able to truly understand everything, especially with pronunciations and can't just understand everything in the world because it's a little tricky, but it's still a really good story and such an interesting world. But yeah, honestly, I really do want to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.